The following recording is brought to you by APQC, your source for benchmarking and best practice research.
A nation with a lag in productivity is assigned a new position in the world, one commensurate with its productivity growth. Over time, it's going to get China, India, and all the others to learn and increase their productivity. Right now, how do they compete in the world and so successfully? Cheap labor and held down currency in the case of a few nations. But it's through cheap labor. And that cheap labor are learners. They're educating these people. I'm getting back to education. They've educated these people to be efficient and effective and stimulated, and they're turning on, and right now they're lowly paid relative to the US. So their goods flood over here. You know what our trade balance is? Huge, 700 billion or something. And where do we get the money to pay for all those goods? Well, we want to get it from productivity. Where do we get it now? Borrowing. We borrow like hell from other nations. And I have a question about that. Who's the nation we borrow the most from? China. They own a huge amount. I have the figures here. And therefore, they are financing us when if we had adequate productivity to afford the difference in wage costs, we could be growing at the same rate or better. So we have a challenge in the global economic sense to decide our fate about whether or not we increase productivity and surpass those who are dealing only on cheap labor. Not only on because the Chinese are not that dumb. They know that that's the case, and they're working every way they can, given their background and where they are, in order to increase the knowledge of their workforce. If you knew the statistics, and some of you do, on China's efforts of pouring into education, it's phenomenal. It's not in the hundreds of thousands, it's in the hundreds of millions that they're pouring into their education system. And so are parts of the Middle East and others. They're not the only ones. But that is going to be an advantage for a long time, is the cheaper labor without offsetting productivity.
Thank you for listening. For more information on our nonprofit organization, visit APQC online at apqc.org.